All right, it is time for Local Tunes. Hit it.
All right, you were listening to Local Tunes on KRUI. My name is Joe Verstraete. I'm here with my co-host Max Lipnick, and we have a very special guest. He is calling in. He plays guitar in Youth Orchestra, and they will be back in Iowa City April 20th at Gabe's. Mike Tallman. Mike, thanks so much for speaking with us tonight.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
I know there was a big announcement yesterday, Camp Euphoria. You guys getting excited for that again?
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of the centerpiece of our summer every year, so always looking forward to it. And I think the crew really put together one of the best lineups we've ever had, so I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, you guys are really big on traditions, Home for the Holidays, Camp Euphoria, and so you guys really feel a connection with your fans?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, those are things that they just kind of became annual traditions, you know, almost by accident. At least, you know, Camp Euphoria, we knew it was something we wanted to do over and over again. The Home for the Holidays, we just did one year and thought it went really well, so thought we ought to keep doing it. But yeah, it is. It's nice to have some regular events that we can focus on every year.
Yeah. So, these songs that you guys have been doing, they've changed definitely over time. You guys started out like bluegrass and stuff, and now you're doing more funk and stuff. So are you, what you guys are listening to, is that changing, or how is that influence changing?
I think it kind of changes all the time. Over the course of our career, we kind of moved through different interests as a group, you know, and but everybody, part of what's nice about playing with a larger band is that everybody has pretty eclectic taste in music. So when you spend a lot of time driving around the country in a van, you can be exposed to a lot of different stuff that, you know, it might be a lot of overlap in taste, but then you might be turned on to something that's totally new and exciting too. So
I know for me, listening to you guys over the years, it's kind of shown me that playing music, you don't need one influence. You guys bring so many different types of music into your sound. Yeah,
and that's, I think, the key to developing as an artist is being open to all these different things. And there's so much that we have available to ourselves all the time, you know, with all the streaming services and the internet and all that. It's like everybody has all the music at their fingertips all the time, so why not try to experience a little bit of everything?
Hey, Mike, this is Max talking now. I was wondering what, for April 20th, are you guys going to bust out any new tunes, or do you have any tricks up your sleeve for that show?
Yeah, well, we're working on a couple things specifically for that night. And, you know, for the tour, we try to have something fresh worked up for every little stretch of shows that we go on as well. But yeah, there's a couple things we're working on. We got some fun ideas.
Yeah, I know you guys just did a single. Could you tell us a little bit about that? I know it was kind of an interesting way on how you guys recorded that.
Yeah, it was a collaboration that came about with Alan Evans, who is the drummer for Soul Live and Carl Denson's Tiny Universe. And at the beginning of last year, he started doing this series of drum tracks online, and he would call it Free Funk Friday. And he would just release a track of him playing drums by himself in his home studio, and he asked people to do something with it. And he had some submissions that came back right away that people had done, but we had a song that Matt put together, and we kind of took our time recording it, and I had started to build up some recording equipment and all that. So we ended up kind of taking our time with it and then recording a proper tune and sending it back to Alan, and he was really enthusiastic about it. He really liked the track and liked the way it sounded, and so decided to make it an official release, which we were really honored that he was so enthusiastic about it.
And then, it sounds great. And your guys' songs are really musically driven, but all the lyrics are really powerful too. Do you think your guys' songs come more from like ideas or experiences?
I think think most of the time, yeah, the best songs do. And, Matt and Austin are really the key songwriters. They're way better at it than I am. But yeah, I think in general, part of what usually makes a great song is somebody speaking from personal experience or speaking from the heart in some kind of way like that.
And how does the songwriting dynamic work in youth orchestra? How do you guys usually put together tunes?
It kind of varies. A lot of times somebody will bring a rough idea to the group and we'll kind of sculpt it into a song altogether. But then there have been other times where somebody, has pretty much a completed idea already figured out, and they bring, what's essentially a finished idea to the group, and we kind of sculpt it around that. And, it'll always change a little bit, but sometimes it's a super rough idea, and then it gets kind of crafted all together.
Yeah, one of you guys once told me that you really gauge the crowd's reaction in writing songs too, and change them based on that.
Yeah, well, we try to. Almost everything we've ever released is something that we've performed live a number of times. I think the only song that we ever have written and then recorded right away before we had played it live was Cause a Reaction from the Soup record. And that was one that Austin just happened to write like the week that we were going in for a session for that album. But pretty much everything else we've ever done, it's always been performed live, and you get kind of a vibe from the audience on that. Definitely tweak things based on reactions.
And you guys, in the last few years, you guys moved from Iowa City to Colorado. How have you guys really noticed how the local scenes, are they different, or how is that?
Yeah, they're very different places. They're similar in that there's really enthusiastic music lovers in both places. And since we've been in Colorado, we've split up now. Like me and Austin live in Denver. Some of the other guys are in Fort Collins. Our new bass player Otis is in Boulder. So none of these places are very far apart. But when we originally moved, we all went to Fort Collins, it has a very similar feel to Iowa City, just the whole vibe of the town. It's a pretty easygoing college town, but really supports the arts. There's a lot of summer, city events and festivals and things that always have music. And so it felt like a pretty easy place to settle down when we first made the move here.
You mentioned you guys are in different locations now. Are you guys purely supported? Are you self-supporting on music, or do you guys have day jobs? I know you do some graphic designing stuff too.
Yeah, we all do some other kind of side work here and there. Some of the guys teach more on their instrument. Like you said, I do a bunch of graphic design work, and so we all have to do other stuff to help make ends meet. But we're definitely out playing and traveling a lot right now.
And I know you guys have been doing a lot of guest spots. What is it like to play with these musicians? Yeah.
Man, I really like it. It's been super fun, and you learn something new from everybody when you get to collaborate with people on that kind of level. And every situation is different. The music that you're playing depends on the person you're working with, and we've had a bunch of different people we worked with over the last year and a half or so. And it's like we worked with Kevin Kinsella, who was the old founding member of John Brown's Body, which is completely different from working with somebody like Jennifer Hartswick or Eddie Roberts or any of these people. But you learn a lot about a lot of different things working with them, and that's really a gift.
Yeah, I saw this year at Euphoria, you guys have got Fareed Hawk coming out. What's your guys' relationship to him?
Well, we've all been longtime fans of his playing, and we've all known his work for a long time, but we just met Fareed on this gig. We did this cruise ship thing. It was the Labruski cruise with Kyle Hollingsworth and a bunch of people, and Fareed was on that cruise with us, and we got to hang out with him a bunch on the boat, and then just kept in touch afterwards. And He lives out around the Chicagoland area, so it made it really easy to get him on board to come play the festival. And he seems like he's pretty psyched about it as well.
Yeah, I know Camp Euphoria kind of started out as kind of like you guys said in a description, a fan appreciation party, but now it's a big music festival. Has this evolution surprised you guys at all?
Yeah, the funny thing is, I mean, it's crazy to think back where it started. You know, it was just like a big party on a farm when it started, and looking at what it's grown into is really incredible. But from year to year, you know, the festival kind of grows a little bit. So if I compare this year to last year, they're pretty similar. Like, you know, 2 consecutive years, there's just a little bit of growth. But if I think about, you know, what it's come to now to like 8 years ago or 10 years ago, I think this is going to be the 13th this summer. It's pretty crazy to compare those things for sure.
Yeah, well, I'm really excited for Camp Euphoria, and I'm also really excited for April 20th. We'll see you guys here soon. Thanks, Mike. Thanks for speaking with us tonight.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you guys for having me, and we'll look forward to seeing everybody on the 20th.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, Mike. Have a good night.
All right, you guys too.
Iowa City is the city where nobody sleep. Black and gold and we roll on our enemies. If you living in the city, you know what I mean. You live in Dallas. Oh, man.